All right, I'm not going to be nice anymore. I refuse to be nice anymore. I did a video about what I'm about to talk about last week about Lee Haney and what he said about bodybuilding, and I was very diplomatic and I was very nice. This time I'm not going to be nice. I'm really sick of the older generation of bodybuilders shitting on today's generation of bodybuilders and shitting on today's sport of bodybuilding, period. I'm really sick of it. I mean, they literally are nitpicking details that nobody gives a shit about to say my generation was better and your generation sucks. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's gotten to the point where they don't even say anything positive. It's ridiculous. So I watch Muscle Discord. I like that channel a lot. Matt is doing a tremendous, tremendous job with that channel. And of course, he has a show with Chris Cormier. And I think last week he had Chris and Dorian Yates on, or it was 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And the question that he had asked Dorian was, would Derek Lunsford, would you be worried about Derek Lunsford if you had to compete against him in your prime? And Dorian and Chris Cormier both laughed at the question. They laughed. And Dorian goes, yeah, I don't think I'd be doing much losing. Now, how disrespectful can you be to today's bodybuilders? You laughed at that question? What? Why? Why would both of these guys laugh at that question? Is Derek that pitiful of a bodybuilder that he wouldn't even hold a candle in your generation? I don't think so. I think Derek is a tremendous bodybuilder. Derek has probably one of the best rear double bi poses in bodybuilding history. You could put it up against Phil Heath. You could put it up against anybody who had a great rear double bi. But yet you guys laughing at him. And Chris Cormier wants to talk about discipline. Chris Cormier has spent the majority of his time in his bodybuilding career in the nightclubs. And the reason why I know this is because I remember I was there. Okay, I am 49 years old. I am these people's generation. I am their generation. I was in the Palladium in the tunnel when Chris Cormier was there with his whole squad of people and his girls partying, doing drugs, drinking, out all night. As a matter of fact, I was in a nightclub one time in New Jersey called Club Abyss, and he was there. This little fucking hole in the wall nightclub in New Jersey, and he was there with his whole squad. And now he wants to criticize people's discipline and hard work. Give me a break. And Dorian was probably the worst ambassador of the sport as a Mr. Olympia ever. He never traveled and went out. He would that's why they call him the shadow. He would literally win the Olympia, do a couple of photo shoots, go back to his cave in the UK. I mean, would you be able to handle the criticism that these guys go through today? The 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 YouTube critics like myself, or the terrible emails and DMs and messages that Derek Lunsford got when he beat Hottie, getting death threats from Hottie's fans. Would you that is something you never had to deal with. That is something Lee Haney, Chris Cormier, Flex, Lee Priest, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian never had to deal with. They never had to deal with that. Do you know what that does to a person? And death threats to him and his family, and he still competes and he still wins. You guys have nothing good to say about this generation, and I'm fucking sick of it. It's time for you guys to shut the fuck up. All right, let's talk about Bob Chick and Sean Ray. You want to tell Regan Grimes that he shouldn't go to the Olympia? He just won the Cali Pro, came in second in Toronto. He won a pro show. That's the qualification to get to the Olympia. And you're going to tell him, no, don't do it? He made it. How many chances do you think a person has to get to the Olympia? You don't know what tomorrow brings. Take another year off. You don't know if he's going to break his leg, if he's going to pull a muscle, if he's going to have. He should go to the goddamn Olympia and come in the best shape he could possibly could, whether he comes in first or 15th. I mean, it's ridiculous. And now you want to split hairs with the front relaxed pose. That's what you want to do. You want to split hairs with the front relaxed pose because they didn't do the front relax because you didn't do the front relax. Now, when I was watching Bob's show, what he said to me, what he said was he used to do the front relax so that his thumbs would actually still hit his hips. And as a matter of fact, my trainer told me the same thing. When I was competing, obviously at an NPC level, we all know that. My trainer, God rest his soul, Guy Del Corso, told me the same thing. I used to do it like you guys did it, but today they do it differently. If the judges want to change, they'll change it. But does it really affect the outcome of the? If Nick Walker would have done the front relaxed pose like you guys did it in the '90s, would that have been the table turn where he beat Derek at Pittsburgh? It just really seems like you guys out there, you older generation of guys, are really, really nitpicking at these guys. I mean, really, you guys are just fucking shitting on him. And Lee Haney, I don't even know what Lee Haney means by this. Okay, this is what he said: bodybuilding has lost its way and appeal to the general population. No longer is it being showcased as it was in times past. This is apparent to the teenage athlete that I'm greeting by in my travels. You know what that means? The teenage kids that you come across in your travels don't know who you are because you haven't been relevant in 25 years. Bodybuilding's not changing. Bodybuilding's just getting bigger. It's making more money and it's more influential than ever before. And then he writes, there needs to be a reset before our sport comes crashing down. You want to go backwards? I don't understand that. What does that mean, reset? You want to go back to your generation where the bodybuilding community was this big and not making as much money? You really think the IFBB is going to do that? And then, however, let's keep hope alive before a sport comes crashing down. I am so sick of it. And I'll say it, okay? Lee Priest is on my show. I consider Lee a very good friend. He's on my show, but he says the same crap that the guys today don't work hard. Lee Priest was a genetic freak. He was winning bodybuilding shows in his teenage years. He literally would be able to put 60, 70, 80 pounds on in his offseason, become a full-fledged slob, and then actually diet down and get in shape for a contest. Do you think that any normal person could do that? He's a genetic freak. And then he'll tell me, hey, listen, I did the 2, 3 hours of cardio. I know you did the 2, 3 hours of cardio, but you wouldn't have had to if you didn't get so goddamn fat in the off season. I don't want to hear about the drugs anymore either. That these guys take so much drugs. These guys take so much drugs today. I'm pretty sure that I saw Milos go on Jay Cutler's podcast and talk about Nasser El Somebody's drug protocol and how much Anadrol he would take a day. And you know what he said? 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams, and this was in the 90s. I think that's pretty goddamn significant. I think that's a lot of drugs. I don't know anybody who does 500 milligrams of Anadrol today. And God knows what he did it on top of that. I mean, it's just, you guys have nothing good to say. Why isn't anybody talking about Hadi literally turned Iran into a bodybuilding fucking festival when he won the Olympia and they built a bronze statue out of him? Or when they gave Big Ramy a ticker tape parade in Egypt and expanding the sport into the Middle East. I mean, how about nobody talks about Derek Lunsford and the fact that he is a tremendous role model for young men today? The fact that he literally promotes family values and Christian values in a day where in a time where in this country and other Western countries, it is nothing but smut and OnlyFans and pornography. I mean, literally every bodybuilding girl is on OnlyFans trying to make extra money to these simps that are sending money to them to flex their muscles. I mean, it's just asinine. It's just ridiculous. And here's another thing. Samson Dowda has been the best Mr. Olympia as far as an ambassador for the sport since Phil Heath. And I'll fucking prove it to you. Okay? I messaged his wife today, Molena, and I said, how many countries have you and your husband been to since you won the Olympia to promote the sport? Okay? And this is their answer. I got it right here. China, Italy, Brazil, Canada, Germany, Mexico, 5 different cities in Mexico, the US, Pittsburgh, Arizona. And that is as well as him training to do the Arnold. And that's another thing. Derek and Samson are both qualified to do the Olympia for the rest of their lives, but they keep competing. They're out there actually competing and promoting the sport and doing what's right for the sport and the fans. Samson doesn't have to do the goddamn Arnold Classic. He put it all on the line and he lost. You know why? Because he wants to do it. He wants to promote the sport. He loves the sport. So getting back to him being the best ambassador of the sport as a Mr. Olympia since Phil Heath. After Phil Heath, we had Sean Roden. He died suddenly. That was terrible. And during his death, he had this terrible allegations against him against Grape, which allowed him not to do anything. Okay. Then you had Brandon Curry. COVID hit. He couldn't do anything. Then you had Big Ramy, and he was worth a pile of shit as far as promoting the sport. He didn't do anything. Don't you remember? He didn't show up to Pittsburgh. Don't you guys remember that? And then after Big Ramy, you had Hottie. He can't go to any other country. It's way too difficult for him to get here just to compete in the Olympia. And then you had Derek, decent, but Samson, since he won the Olympia, has not stopped promoting the sport and has not stopped guest posing and has not stopped competing. But no, we don't talk about any of that shit. We just want to shit on today's bodybuilders. Well, listen, it's time for you guys to shut the fuck up. And the next thing I want to hear is you actually applauding the guys and what they're doing today. Jesus Christ. I'm fucking sick of it. That's all I ever hear. When back in my day, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear back in my day anymore.